A new film explores the conflict between wildlife and man in a shrinking world. It is the first documentary to explore conservation from the rural African's point of view. The film won the Director's Award for Best Documentary at the Pan-African Film Festival. VOA's Caroline Turner reports.
Milking the Rhino explores the conflicts between environmentalists who want to protect endangered species and rural African villagers who live off the land. With livestock and wildlife competing for the same land, the film tells the story of two of the Earth's ancient cattle cultures, the Maasai tribe of Kenya and the Himba of Namibia, as they struggle with the transformation from wildlife poachers to community-based conservation that benefits their community. Director David E. Simpson explains.
For a long time they've suffered the costs, but they haven't reaped many of the benefits, which is why they've had a very adversarial relationship, many rural Africans, to wildlife.
At first, the villagers were very skeptical about protecting wildlife. Then, their livestock was devastated during a disastrous drought. The Maasai Il-Ngwisi adopted a radical plan to bring back the wildlife and open an ecotourism lodge. Director David E. Simpson says they couldn't believe it was possible until their neighbor provided an example.
And through the intervention of a neighbor of theirs, a white rancher who had turned his cattle ranch into a conservation area and was making a good profit. So it was through that relationship that these folk at Il-Ngwisi became convinced that they should try this. And they did that. They sequestered their cattle in 20% of their land and regrew the habitat in the rest. And the wildlife came back. The tourists are flocking to this award-winning lodge that they've built. And it's a real success story.
Omni, a black rhino, was adopted by the community as a baby because his mother was blind. Now, Omni has grown up to be the star attraction with tourists. The villagers are now recognizing that wildlife can be an asset rather than a threat to their cattle and their livelihood. The director, Simpson, explains.
And that's all starting to change now. So they're trying to find ways to benefit from the wildlife. In other words, to milk the rhino, to reap some benefits from the...
Most of the people in the Kenya Il-Ngwisi are in favor of the Conservation Ecotourism Lodge because the community is finally getting some tangible benefits, according to Simpson.
The lodge has been employing people and feeding profits to the community, and those profits end up as public works, a clinic, roads, transportation, schools, new teachers. So there's all sorts of benefits that they see that are really tangible. And they've figured out how to balance their traditional lifestyle of cattle herding with ecotourism. And the tourists, of course, come for the wildlife.
In Namibia, the benefits are not as tangible because the community commitment to conservation is not as highly evolved. The film captures a controversial community debate after some cattle herders killed two lions. One cattle rancher complains that lions near his cattle will cost him money. NGOs are educating the community about the value of the lions in attracting tourism. Lion expert Flip Sander has been tracking each individual lion's movements and genealogy for over 15 years.
I just want to say one or two things about the incident so everybody understands what is the story with these lions. In January 2002, two female lions, they give birth to 8 cubs. We've got a genealogy chart of exactly who belongs to who, and that's the basis of our understanding. And this is the information that we relay to the communities. And they are identifying with these individuals. Puros will get up and say, where are our lions? And they say, but where's the old female? Oh no, she's there, she's given birth. Ah, great, she's given birth to another litter. So that association, it's a wonderful thing.
Simpson's film captures the evolution, as a more conservation-minded villager argues that if a lion is threatening the cattle, the community could sell a permit to a trophy hunter for $5,000 and bring real economic benefits to the community.
So they're just, they're trying to work it out, and that's what's fascinating to me as a filmmaker. That's why I wanted to do the project. I mean, I love the animals as much as the next guy, but I was really interested in the cultures and how they're in this rapid transition.
Milking the Rhino is a documentary that challenges perceptions of rural Africans' relationship to wildlife. Carolyn Turner, VOA News.